Welcome to our weekly Forex forecast, and this is in preparation for trading on the week of the 21st to the 25th, 2019. Just a quick disclaimer here before we get started. This is for educational purposes only. Trading is a risky business, so please be careful with your money. So as usual, we'll start off by taking a look at our Forex Factory calendar here. Before we dive into the news that's coming out this week, let's take a look at what happened this weekend here on Saturday. So we had the Brexit vote. Before going into the weekend, there was a deal that was struck between EU and Boris Johnson, and that was supposed to be voted on by the Parliament. And the result of that vote was that the Parliament actually did not pass it, and they basically want the Prime Minister to go back and look for a delay in Brexit. So that was the outcome of the vote. The agreement that was reached is not finalized now. So we are back to the table in terms of the Brexit stuff. So expect volatility in regards to that. We are likely to see a gap in British pound. So watch out for that. But there will be basically, now we are back at more volatility coming up for Brexit. But in the longer term, though, I think EU will give a delay. I don't think they really want to cause a hard Brexit. And as a result of that, basically they're back to the negotiations, and we're likely to get a delay. There's only 10 days or so, a couple of weeks left here before the deadline here. So I don't think there will be as much of a problem getting a delay, but there will be lots of comments and expect volatility as a result of that in British pound. Other than that, coming up here, Monday is a fairly light day in terms of red news here, but we do have a federal election for Canada. So this is likely to cause a reaction in Canadian dollar as the results come out, depending on which party wins the election or if there is a minority government. So watch out for volatility in Canadian dollar as a result of the results for the election come out. And we also have the federal budget here. So if it's below expectations here, that could be bad for the US dollar. But other than that, not a whole lot on Monday. On Tuesday, we have data for Canada here again. So over the next couple of days, do expect volatility in the Canadian dollar. We have core retail sales here, and we have US data here as well, existing home sales and Richmond manufacturing index. So if these numbers are not met, the expectations are not met, we're likely to see a negative impact on the US dollar. And we have Bank of Canada Business Outlook Survey. So a few data points right off the bat for Canadian dollar for the upcoming week here. And we have crude oil inventories. These also have an impact on Canadian dollar. So volatility in Canadian dollar is on the horizon for us. And then we have manufacturing PMI numbers and services PMI numbers for Australia. Again, these will have an impact on Australian dollar here. So last time the numbers were good. So if they stay positive, excuse me, that will be good for Australian dollar. On Thursday here, we have a ton of data out of Eurozone here. We have a PMI numbers. PMI numbers are leading indicators, and these lead to retail sales and GDP. So these numbers are very important. And if they fall below expectations here, that is likely to have a negative impact on euro. We also have ECB here. So ECB not likely to make any change at this point. Last time they did cut the deposit rate and went into negative here. They're not expected to make any change. But what we need to watch out for here would be what the commentary is in regards to the future. So if they talk about expansionary monetary policy and more easing, that will be negative for euro. But if they don't go there, if they just keep things the way they are, just status quo, that then can have a positive impact on euro or may not have any impact on euro. And also there's press conference shortly after. So there will be, usually there is an impact right when this monetary policy statement comes out, and we see more impact again when the once the press conference starts going. So twice we generally feel the impact of that. And then on Friday here, actually on Thursday, we also have PMI numbers for the US. Again, PMI numbers, like I said, are important numbers. On Friday here, we have our consumer sentiment numbers out of the US, as well as German IFO business climate numbers. These numbers are very important. So if they're not met, that could have negative impact on both of these currencies. And another thing to keep in mind here, there will be time shift, daylight time shift for our European friends here. So keep that in mind. So when you are trading, the sessions will start at slightly different times because of the shift. All right, so let's go on to the charts now. We'll start off with our euro dollar as usual here. Now, there will be a bit of a change here because of the vote. But based on the weekly here, euro was very positive. So big bullish move here to the upside. Now, based on technicals, this is bullish, but I think based on the vote here, we could see a decline. So we do need to, both for euro and pound, we need to wait and see what kind of reaction we get. So right now, pound is driven based on sentiment, not so much the technicals here, because it's all has been about the positive sentiment around the Brexit agreement being reached. And now that they're back to the table, that is likely to have a negative impact on that. So what I would look for here, first of all, would be see the reaction at the market open and see what kind of comments come out of UK as well as EU in regards to Brexit. So with this being bullish here, we could see a move higher into 1.1250 and then a drop, or we could just see a reaction right where the price is. So I would watch out for that reaction, but based on the technicals alone, the bias is bullish and next target is 1.1250. But I would be careful with euro dollar going into the week here, as well as for our pound as well. Pound has had a big move to the upside here. Now, there was a concern that the vote may not get passed, and as a result of that, we did see price drop here, but then it has gone back up. So on Friday, it went back up here. So with this one here, bias is very much bullish here because of the optimism. But now that the vote hasn't passed, we could see price turn around here. So watch out for that because it could drop right like that. But if there are positive comments that come out of the Eurozone saying that they are willing to give an extension on Brexit, that could have a further reaction here. But I would very much watch out for buy the rumor, sell the news. So this pair could actually drop. So pound could drop across the board this week. So we have to watch out for that. I am expecting volatility in the British pound. And again, it will be sentiment-driven move, not so much based on any kind of fundamentals or anything, just purely sentiment. So either I'm looking for a turnaround where it is right now, a 1.2990, so about 130, or we could see price go up slightly higher here. So I'm not looking for a huge move to the upside here. We have had this move. So now we are, or at least I'm looking for price to turn around here. So bias is bullish, but based on the sentiment, we could see a turnaround. So either right where it is or towards a 132 mark. So this is an important support resistance area. So it could go higher, but I would watch out for a reaction right here or slightly higher. I'm not looking for this to continue on forever. We've had a lot of optimism here, and now that the Brexit deadline is coming, is almost upon us, we are likely to see prices a turnaround. So bias here is bullish, but with caution. Aussie dollar here, this one is also bullish here, and we could see price go higher towards the top of this range that price has been trading in. So this is the range that we have seen price trade in. At this point, I'm looking for price to go higher towards 1.68 or 6,900, and this is where we could see things turn around. So watch out for that, but should it go through, it could go all the way towards 0.7050. So bias here is bullish for Aussie dollar as well, and we could see things go further up. Now, another thing in regards to this here, if we see a drop in British pound, we are likely to also see a drop in yen crosses and all the basically the risk stuff, because we could see risk aversion set up as a result of that. So either now or we may have to wait a little bit. So this is where we have to gauge the market sentiment before taking too many trades, because the sentiment is very powerful and it can push things where we may not be expecting them. So for now, bias is bullish, but I would expect a reaction either at 0.6900 or 0.7050. So bullish bias for Aussie dollar as well. New Zealand dollar here, same thing. We have had a bullish move to the upside, and there is room higher up here for this one to move further. But again, with caution, because things are likely to shift. Okay, so bias here is bullish. Next target is 0.6450, and we could see things price go higher beyond that as well towards 0.6520. So I would watch out for that. But bias is bullish. But again, we could see a reaction right into this high at 64.50 here, because this is an important support resistance level. Last time price was here, it turned around, the support resistance coming all the way from here. So it can do the same here as well. So keep an eye on at that level. So bullish, bias is bullish here for New Zealand dollar. Dollar CAD here, this one is bearish. We have had some positive stuff going on here. Well, US dollar has been negative, so that's been part of the reason. But overall, Canadian dollar has gotten stronger as well. So bias here is bearish, but with this one, keep an eye on Canadian elections. Elections generally tend to have an impact on currencies. So keep an eye on that, but bias is bearish here. 1.30 is the target to the downside. So bearish bias for dollar CAD. Euro pound here, this one has dropped quite sharply here. Now we are almost towards the bottom here. So bias is bearish, but again, with British pound shifting, this is likely to shift as well. So the optimism can carry it further right into the bottom here, and then we could get a reaction here. So bias is bearish here, but I am looking for realignment in all British pairs. So just our British pound pairs. So keep that in mind, because we could see a gap to the upside in this one here as well as British pound gaps down. If it doesn't, then there is still optimism in the market that EU will grant an extension, and then basically things will be rosy. So either way, we have to see what happens and gauge the market sentiment prior to actually getting into trades. So if the sentiment still stays positive for British pound, this is likely to drop, and target would be 0.8485. If the sentiment changes, then we are likely to just see a turn right here, and price is likely to go into 0.8800. So again, any British pound cross, we have to keep an eye on. So for now though, bias is bearish, target is 0.8485. Euro Swiss franc, this one has been stuck in this little range here. If you take a look at the daily chart, we see that price has been stuck in this range for some time. It went into this support resistance level. we saw a big reaction to the downside, and now I would be looking for price to drop here. And on the weekly here, we see a bearish pin bar. But the problem here is there is strong support right into this area. So watch out for that. Bias is bearish though. I'm looking for price to drop further here towards 1.08. So bearish bias for Euro Swiss franc for now. Just looking for a drop. Just be cautious around the support level at 1.0970. But bias is bearish for Euro Swiss franc. Pound Swiss franc, this has also been just going sideways here. Overall bias is bullish though, but as we can see, we are into the support resistance level that has been tested many, many times before. And as we can see, price bounced off of that level. So I'm looking for a price to basically turn around here, especially if a pound drops here, we're likely to see pound Swiss franc drop. But otherwise, I would look for a price to go and test the high. And if it doesn't go through, I would look for a drop here. And we could see price drop further towards 1.2465 level here. But just be cautious with all pound crosses. Dollar Swiss franc here, this one has been dropping. Dollar has been very weak here. So bias here is bearish. Now, with the Brexit vote, things could change with this one as well, but overall bias is bearish. First target is 0.9800, second target 0.9700. So bias is bearish for dollar Swiss franc. Pound yen, this one has been very strong, but I am looking for things to turn here if the sentiment turns sour for pound, but if not, then this one could go higher. Right now, a lot of sentiment in the market that's driving prices. Sentiment has been very, very bullish for the pound because of the optimism around the Brexit vote. So now that the vote for the Brexit agreement, now that there is no agreement in place because the parliament didn't pass it, we could see a drop in this. So should that happen, should the pound sentiment turn, I would just look for a drop here. On the other hand, though, if there's still optimism that EU will grant an extension for Brexit deadline, which is what I'm expecting them to grant the deadline, then it could continue on. And so this is where we need to see. In that case, I will look for a price to go higher towards 144.60. So bias is bullish, but with caution for pound yen. Euro yen, same thing here. Things have been very, very bullish based on optimism here. And now we are into this support resistance level. So this is an important support resistance level. Price could turn from here, so keep an eye on it. But based on the weekly candle here, just purely on technicals, bias is bullish, and we could see price go towards 123.30. But if the sentiment shifts, we can see price just turn from where it is currently, and it could drop. So should it drop, I will look for it to continue towards 119.20 and then potentially lower towards 117. But again, we need to wait and see how the market reacts before taking those trades. For now, though, just based on technicals alone, this is bullish. 123.20 will be the next target. Dollar yen here, this one has not been doing that well because of the dollar weakness here. Bias is bearish. We see price went into this strong resistance level here and it has dropped. So I will look for price to drop further here. Bias is bearish and looking for it to move lower towards 106.60. So bearish bias here for dollar yen. Aussie yen here, this one has been bullish as well, but price is coming into resistance. So watch out for that. Last time it was very bullish, but price turned around. So we could see similar reaction. Now, should it go through, then this one could continue further. But for now, bias is bullish. Again with caution here. First target is 75.20. Second target 76.20, and then this is quite a bit stronger resistance there, so we could see price turn there. For now, bias is bullish for Aussie yen as well. New Zealand yen, this one has moved up as well. So again, just a note in regards to our yen crosses here, there has been a lot of optimism because of Brexit. So safe haven assets, when there's optimism in the market, safe haven assets decline. So that's why yen crosses have not done, or yen hasn't done well. So yen crosses have gone higher. But if that optimism shifts now, we could see yen crosses drop across the board, as well as the equity markets. So just keep an eye on those things. For now, though, bias is bullish, and next target is 70.00. And if it goes further, there's quite a bit of room here, and it could go all the way into 72.20. For now, though, bias is bullish. Again, all the yen crosses and all the pound crosses, I would be cautious and gauge the sentiment before taking any trades here. CAD yen here, CAD yen, this one is looking bullish as well. Next target is 83.20, and if it goes beyond that, it could go all the way towards 84.20. So bullish bias here as well, again with caution, because this one is likely to turn with everything else as well. All right, so let's take a look at our commodities here. Silver has been trading in this range. So what I just said about the optimism in the market, should that turn, we are likely to see silver go up. So safe haven assets could go up as a result of a shift in market sentiment. For now, though, this one is neutral. We have an indecision candle here. So bias is neutral at this point. We just have to see how things align in terms of sentiment. And then based on our daily chart, though, this one could go higher toward 17.80 and then higher into 18. So this one could go up, but keep an eye on how things align first. From sentiment perspective, bias is neutral for now. Gold here, gold hasn't done a whole lot either. It's just and hung around here. So for our weekly candle is actually just spinning top here. So it's an indecision candle. Price is just stuck here at this point. So what I'm looking for here again is a shift in sentiment. If the sentiment turns negative, this one is likely to go higher as well. So, but we have to see. So what I will look for is which way does it break? If the price breaks the bottom here, then I'm looking for price to go down further. And then the target is 14.58, but sorry, 57 here. If it goes, if it breaks the high of this indecision candle, then I'm looking for it to go higher. But first, we have to see which way it wants to go. So I'm going to leave these levels up here and just wait which way the price breaks and then follow along in that direction. For now, bias is neutral for gold as well. Oil here, oil has just been trading in this range for now. It's sitting here, hasn't really gone anywhere. This is where we are currently. So from a weekly perspective, we still have bearishness in this candle here. So price could drop. But because we are right into support here, it could turn around and this may be the time for it to go higher. So I would watch out for that. But if, let's say, the oil inventories come out with a buildup, we're likely to see this one drop. So watch out for that. But we are into support. So this one is also at an important level where things could turn around and we could just see price go higher. So keep an eye on that. If it breaks the high of this candle, we're likely to go higher towards 58 level. And that's the level I'll be watching, plus the support here. So for now, bias is neutral. I don't like this candle very much. There is bearishness, so I would look for a test to the downside. But then we are likely to see a turnaround here. So we have to just wait for that because we're into this strong support and price has not been able to break it. It tested it many, many times, but it just hasn't been able to break it, which means chances are it's going to go higher. So neutral bias for oil for now as well. Copper is looking bullish here. We do have a bullish candle close. We have a bullish pin bar here. it is into strong support resistance levels. So that's something to be mindful of, but bias is bullish. Once it breaks the high of this week, I'm looking for it to go higher towards 2.66 here. So bullish bias for copper. Bitcoin, this was looking bearish. However, it's towards the bottom of the range here. So I do not have the weekend numbers for Bitcoin. So make sure you check your chart for the weekend. But if it doesn't break the support level of the range here, then I will look for a price to just kind of go back towards the top of the range here. But if it breaks the support, then there is room to the downside here towards 7,000 level. So I will watch out for that. So support level here at 77.50 is very, very important. As long as price holds above that, I will look for price to go higher there. For now, this one is range bound, and I would look for it to stay range bound. But if it breaks here, then there is definitely room to the downside, and target becomes then 7,000 level. Okay, equities here. Equities have been interesting. There's been optimism based on Brexit stuff and US and China sort of coming towards an agreement. So there has been optimism, but market is just stalling here now. There isn't like tons of bullishness here. So at this point, again, we could see a turnaround. So what happens when market is turning is there is indecision in the market before things turn. So we just need to wait for that signal where it shows the turnaround. So I will look for market to test the high here towards 30.20. If it doesn't break, basically I'm looking for it to drop here. So for now, there is some bullishness in the market, but I would be very cautious. I would not be looking to go long on this. But I would be watching the high here. If it doesn't break the high, chances are this is going to drop. So I'm more towards the drop than towards the breakout here. But if it does break out, then we need to align to that. But otherwise, I'm looking for market to shift and turn to the downside. But there is still room to the upside. So it could go higher first before it drops. So watch out for that. Target here is 30.20, and then looking for it to come down towards 28.80 level. Nasdaq here, Nasdaq is actually looking more bearish than the other one here. So we have a pin bar here, which means price could drop. So bias is more to the downside here. This is the little range that price has been trading in for the last couple of weeks here. So I would look for price to drop towards 75.50 here. So bias is bearish for NASDAQ. Our DAX here, this one is also into resistance here, but there's still bullishness in the candle, which means it could go higher. But with the vote, things could change. So watch out for that, because we could see a turn right where it is at 12,800. So that's what I'm looking for. But should it break the high, then price could go higher here, and it could basically go into the next support and resistance level here towards 13,000. For now, it is bullish, but with caution. FTSE here, FTSE is looking bearish, so I've looked for it to drop further towards 7,000 level here. But 7,100 level is important here. It hasn't been able to break it, but I am looking for, I will wait for the break, but I'm looking for price to drop here. 7,000 is the target. So bearish bias here for FTSE. Okay, here, this one is the daily chart here. It seems to be stalling, so we could see a drop here. But the weekly candle is bullish. But as we can see, this is into strong resistance level. So watch out for this resistance, because we could see a drop from here because it is very strong. If that does not happen, should it break through, then we definitely have room to the upside towards 23,400. But here, I would be very cautious at the current high here. If it doesn't go through, I would look for a drop. But based on just on the technicals alone, it is bullish. And if it goes through, there's room to the upside towards 23,400. So bullish bias with caution. All right, so that's all for today. I won't be doing a spreadsheet this week, so because I'm traveling, but next week I will have the spreadsheet for you. The recording will be available though. So you guys have a wonderful trading week, and I will be back again with the daily analysis tomorrow. Bye for now.